We next consider the impartial green knight. Following the conventions of conventional chess, we will denote him phonetically by the letter N. When located far enough away from the edges of the board, the traditional chess knight has the 8 legal moves shown here. But our impartial green knight was afflicted by the diagonal plague, which permanently destroyed half of those moves, leaving only those in which the southwest component exceeds the northeast component. Let's now watch a game of the Lone Green Knight that was played at the Berkeley Math Circle on April the 6th, 2017. In this game, the blue player wore a blue shirt and the red player wore a red shirt. The knight began at 8-7. Blue moved to g5, then red to e4. Then blue to d2, and red to b1. Blue then had no legal move, so the game was over and red won. We'll now analyze the game of the impartial green knight. If the green knight starts in the corner, or immediately adjacent to the corner, he has no legal move, so these squares are circled. They are wins for the previous player. What about this square? Since there is a legal move to a circle, this square can be won by the next player, and so it can be checkmarked. Continuing on southeastward down the diagonal, what about the next square? None of its potential destinations are on the board, so the knight has no legal move from this square, which makes it a circle. And finally, from this square there is a legal move, so it becomes a checkmark. It is convenient to categorize the squares by working along the diagonals. This is because all of the knight's legal moves go from his current diagonal to another more southwestward diagonal. So by working in this order, we have always resolved the outcomes of the knight's next destinations before we determine the outcome of his current location. Each of the locations on the next diagonal has a circled follower, so all of these squares are checkmarks. But from the top square on the next diagonal, there are no circled destinations. Hence, this square must itself be a circle. But the next 3 squares on this diagonal are checkmarks, although the last square is a circle. On the next diagonal, we find 2 circles, then 2 checkmarks, then 2 circles. We can continue on and on by using this same method. On a very large board, we find the pattern of circles and checkmarks. The circles occur in little 2x2 squares, which repeat every 4 locations in both the horizontal and vertical directions. If blue has reached such a circled location sufficiently away from the edges of the board, then any red move can be reversed back onto another circle. This is true for any of the 4 potential starting positions. It is also true even if the knight is on the top row of the board, because red's now illegal move off the board precedes blue's. So all of the O's on the infinite board remain O's on the finite board. However, we shall now see that some check marks near the edges of a very large board might become O's near the edges of a smaller board. If the knight starts from any square on the row we've labeled as row 6, he can reach a circle by playing a move which stays on the board. So all of these squares can be checkmarked. But from row 7, which occurs at the top of the 8x8 board, the knight can reach a circle from columns A, B, C, D, E, F, or G, and all of these squares can be checkmarked. But when extended to column H, his purported winning move goes off the 8x8 board, so we are unable to checkmark the corner square. Reflecting these checkmarks across the diagonal leaves the corner square at H7 without any winning move. In fact, both moves from the corner square go to checkmarks, so the corner must be a circle. So we can now analyze the knight's game played at the Berlekamp circle on April 6th. The knight began on the corner square at h7. Since this is a circle, there is no winning move for the first player. Blue's move to g5 was as good as any. Red found a winning response to e4. Blue again had no winning options, so he moved to d2, which Red reversed back to the circle at b1, which ended the game. Red won.